In this video, we will use the methods of Lagrange multipliers to solve this problem. The problem consists of two constraints, which is the plane and the paraboloid. These are the equations that the solution must satisfy. Before we solve the challenge problem, let us first consider a similar problem with a singular constraint. In this problem, use Lagrange multipliers to find the point in this surface that is closest to the origin. Moreover, find the minimum distance. Now, in this type of problem, there is a clever trick which simplifies the process. Here, since d is the function needs to be minimized, then the point which minimizes this value coincides with the point which minimizes the square of this distance. To put this one into perspective, graphing the surface gives us hyperbolic paraboloid. Notice that from this illustration, you cannot directly tell which point in the surface gives the closest distance from the origin. Now, going back to our problem, we have the following steps. Step 1. Identify the constraints and the objective function. Instead of using d, we use d squared. Hence, we have this one for our objective function. We will try to minimize this one. And for the constraints, we have this equation, which justifies that the solution should be on the surface. Then for our step 2, we apply the Lagrange multipliers. We have this one, the alternative process which was mentioned in our previous video. Now, since your f is equal to x squared plus y squared plus z squared, then this means your gradient of f is equal to this one. Notice that if you derive this one with respect to x, you will have this value. Deriving with respect to y, you have 2y, and then deriving with respect to z, you have 2z. And for the constraint, you have this one. Here, our g is equal to x squared minus y squared minus z plus 2 equals 0. So that when you derive this one with respect to x, then you will have 2x, which is the input for this first component. Deriving this one with respect to y, you will have 2y. So that's why you will have this one. And for z, you have negative 1. We can now extract the system of equations based on this equality. So here we have this one for the first component. So that is 2x is equal to lambda 2x. And then we also have this one, which is 2y equivalent to lambda times negative 2y. And then for the third component, we also have this one. And then finally, we write the constraint, which is this hyperbolic paraboloid. Let us label this one equation 1, equation 2, equation 3, and equation 4 for the constraint. Let us now proceed to step 3, which is to solve the system. Now, from the first equation, we can have this simplification. So that is, if we transpose this one and then factor out in 2x, you will have 2x times 1 minus lambda equals 0, which gives us the possible value x equals 0 or lambda equals 1. If you use similar process for equation 2, you can actually obtain a value of y and lambda. So if we transpose this one on the other side, you will obtain y plus lambda times 2y equals 0. Factor out in 2y, you will have 2y, and this one is 1 plus lambda equals 0. So therefore, you will obtain y equals 0 or lambda equals negative 1. And for equation 3, you have 2z equals negative lambda. So dividing both sides by 2, you will have z is equal to negative lambda over 2. And writing this one in our solution, so we have this one by equation 2, as mentioned, with possible values y equals 0 and lambda equals negative 1. For equation 3, we also have this one. Considering these possible values for x, y, lambda, and z, we have the following cases. Since we always have this possible value of z, we are reduced to the following cases. First is we consider what happens when x equals 0 and y equals 0. Next case would be x equals 0 and lambda equals negative 1. And then finally, what happens when lambda equals 1? So we have our case 1, which is this one. Since x and y are given, we can directly use the constraint to find the value of z, which is this one. This one is 0, this one is 0, and transposing z to the other side gives us z equals 2. And thus we obtain this critical point. And for case 2, we have this one, x equals 0 and lambda equals -1. Here, since the lambda is given, we can directly substitute this one to the equation 3, which is this one, to obtain the value of z, which is now equal to 1/2. Now, since two of the values are given, which is the value of x and the value of z, then we can use our constraints again to obtain the value of y. That is, substitute x equals 0 and z equals 1/2 in 4. So we have this simplification at which we can combine this constant into 3 over 2, and transposing this one gives us positive y squared. And hence we can simplify this one to y squared equal to 3 over 2, which gives us the possible value of y, which is positive negative square root of 3 over 2. Hence we have this critical points. X equals 0, z equals 1/2, and y is equal to positive negative square root of 3 over 2. Now for our final case, we have lambda equals 1, which also implies y should be 0. Since we have this one in our early calculation, x equals 0, lambda equals 1, and then you have here y equals 0 and lambda equals -1. So taking the possible combination, since if we choose lambda equals 1, we cannot choose lambda equals -1. Hence, you are left with lambda equals 1 and your y equals 0. Which also implies from equation 3, z is equal to -1/2. Now, since we already have the value of y and z, we can use the constraints again to solve for the value of x. So here we have the constraint, which is now simplified to these values. So we have here your y and we have your z. But notice that in this case, simplifying further gives us x squared is equal to a value which is negative. And this case is impossible. We cannot find a solution for x in this equation. Hence, we only have the following critical points. And for our final step, we find the point which corresponds to the minimum distance. For the first critical point, the value of f is equal to 4. So this one is x squared plus y squared plus z squared. And then for the next critical point, we have this one. Its squares gives us 3 over 2. This one gives us 1/4. And simplifying this one gives us this value, 7 over 4, which is equal to 1.75. And similarly, the next critical point also gives the same value as this one. Hence, we have 1.75. Now, if you compare these values of f, the minimum value is obtained by these critical points. And hence, these are the points which corresponds to the minimum distance. Visually, this is located in these parts of the graph of the hyperbolic paraboloid. And that's how you find the points corresponding to the minimum distance. Therefore, the point required in the problem is these critical points, with the minimum value of f equal to 1.75. However, notice that f is defined to be d squared. Hence, the minimum distance can be obtained by taking the square root of this value. And therefore, the minimum distance is the square root of 1.75, which is square root of 7 over 2. Now, for the challenge problem, we have this plane equation and this paraboloid, which is of intersection equal to an ellipse. Now, find the point on this ellipse that is closest to the origin. Now, the plane given in the problem and the paraboloid is graphed as follows. Now, notice that its intersection is described by this ellipse, and in the problem, you are asked to find the point which is in this ellipse that is closest to the origin. If you observe this one closely, such point is located in this area. Let us now find this point and its distance with the origin. Now, for the solution, let us first find the constraints and the objective function. Similar with our previous problem, we take the objective function f as the square of the distance between the point and the origin. This one is the plane equation, and then we also have this one, which is the paraboloid. This one is to be minimized, which is also equal to the square of the distance. This is the first constraint, and this one is the second constraint. Now, for our next step, we apply the Lagrange multipliers. But in this case, since we have multiple constraints, we have the following setup. Here, we simply add the gradient of h with this constant. Now, for the gradient of f, we derive this one with respect to x, we have 2x. Deriving this one with respect to y, we have 2y, and finally we have 2z. For the gradient of g, we have lambda times this one. Deriving this one with respect to x gives us 1. Deriving this one with respect to y, we also have 1, and similarly for z. And then finally, for the gradient of h times this mu, we have this one. So deriving this one with respect to x, you have 2x. We also have 2y for the partial with respect to y, and then finally we have negative 1 for z. Now, we make use of this equality to extract the system of equation. So what we have here is that this one, which is the gradient of f, then lambda times the gradient of g, and then mu times the gradient of h. So simplifying this one further gives us the following system of equations. For the first component, you have 2x, which is equal to lambda, and then you have 2x times mu. This one, for the second component and third component, we have the following system. And then finally, we put the constraints. We have this one for the plane and this one for the paraboloid. Now consider the following labels. We have this one for equation 1, for equation 2, and then we have equation 3, and then for the constraints, we have equations 4 and 5. Now for our step 3, we solved the system of equations. Notice that if you look at equation 1 and equation 2, what we have here is that we can automatically eliminate lambda by subtracting these equations. And similarly for 2 and 3. If we subtract equation 2 from equation 1, what we can obtain is 2x minus 2y, and then this one will be eliminated, then this one will be subtracted. So this is equal to 2 mu x minus 2 mu y. So doing that in our calculation, we have this one. So we have this one as mentioned, and then this one simplifies to x minus y, which is equal to mu times x minus y. We now transpose this one to the other side so that we have the following result. So here, notice that x minus y is common so that we can factor that one out. So we have this one, x minus y, and what is left is 1 minus mu. Hence, we can extract the possible values in this equation, which is x equals y or mu equals 1. Now, consider the following cases. Case 1, that is when mu is equal to 1. From equation 1, notice that mu here is equal to 1. Therefore, this one reduces to 2x, which is now equal to lambda plus 2x. Therefore, we can cancel out 2x, and this gives us lambda equals 0. Since we already have the value of mu and lambda equals 0, we can make use of the equation 3, which justifies that 2z is equal to lambda minus mu. And therefore, we can obtain a value of z. So what we have here is that when you substitute lambda equals 0 and mu equals 1, you have z equals negative 1/2. Now, notice that by equation 5, we have the following paraboloid, which states that z should be a positive number. This means we cannot find values for x and y such that it would give a negative value of z. This implies there is no critical point for this case. Since we only have two possible cases, which is mu equals 1 and x equals y, and we didn't find any critical point for this case, we are now left with x equals y. And that would be our next case. Case 2. What about x equals y? For this case, we use equation 4. Notice that this one is the plane. So here, instead of writing x plus y plus z equals 12, we replace y by x so that we have this one. Simplifying gives us 2x and then plus z equals 12, which is also equal to this one. Now, let us make use of our second constraint, which is the paraboloid. We have this one. Instead of writing x squared plus y squared equals z, we replace y by x. And therefore, we have 2x squared, which is equal to z. We can now equate this one and this one. So we have this simplification, which now gives us 2x squared plus 2x minus 12 equals 0. So here we can simplify further by dividing by 2. This gives us x squared plus x minus 6 equals 0. Factor outing this one gives us x plus 3 times x minus 2 equals 0. And this gives us the value x equals negative 3 or x equals 2. Since this case assumes that x is equal to y, therefore, if x is equal to negative 3, y is also equal to negative 3. And we can use these two values to obtain a value of z. From our previous equations, we have z is equal to 2x squared. Therefore, we have this one. We have 2x squared. But here we have x is equal to negative 3. Hence, z is equal to 18. So we have this critical point. Now, for x is equal to 2, we also have y is equal to 2, and then z equals 8. And we have this corresponding critical point. Now, for the final step, we have step 4 to find the minimum distance using these critical points. For the first critical point, we have this one, negative 3, and 18. So here we simply square these inputs and add up. This one gives you the value 342. And for the second critical point, the value is equal to 72. So this critical point corresponds to the minimum value of f. Now, since f is equal to the square of the distance, therefore, the point required is this one, and the corresponding minimum distance is the square root of this 72. And hence, we have the coordinate of this point, which is 228, and this distance, which is 6 square root of 2. Don't hesitate to drop down your questions in the comment section. And if you want more of the contents like this, subscribe and see you in our next video.